3,360 pounds, little Catalina 172 Summit Series here at Haglett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. This is a really slick little rear bath single axle couples camper. We've got a front walk around bed, and there's lots of RVs that have that. But where this one kind of stands out is it adds a sofa slide without adding any sort of carpeting to give you that extra little bit of space that I think a lot of folks really look for in these smaller 7-foot wide campers. And with the slide closed, you see that you've got pretty good access. We can obviously very easily get to our kitchen, but the sofa does stick out quite a bit on this one, and something that I noticed is that it kind of makes it difficult getting into the bathroom. You know, if you come back here, you see that the bathroom door can open a little bit, but it's going to be a little tight. Like, if I really suck in the old dad gut, I could probably get around that thing. It wouldn't be comfortable. I tell you what, in a roadside emergency, I'd certainly take a stab at it. But the thing is, if you just nudge the slide out like that much, that's all it takes. Now keep in mind, this is only a 7-foot wide camper. So getting around, getting through here, you know, I might still have to walk sideways to get through that, but it's very accessible. It can be very travel accessible. And because this camper is only 7 foot wide, if I only bump that slide out a couple inches like I just did, well, you'd still be within the confines even of like a parking space. So even though it's not obviously travel accessible, I think it's still pretty good qualifying. We'll call it like a B+ for travel accessibility. And what's really nice is this is a little camper that doesn't feel quite so little. And there's a couple things that help that. It's got plenty of window coverage, great cross breeze. That light color palette really helps open it up in here. But additionally, it has a full 6.5 foot normal RV interior height. Some of these single axle little mini campers that you find in the marketplace, they have a reduced height interior. They're a little bit shorter inside, not this one. So it's more comfortable in the shower, it's more comfortable walking around, it's just more comfortable, period. It's also easy cleaning. We have ventless flooring. It's very pet friendly. There's no carpet in this camper whatsoever. Our walk around front bed here is really nice as compared to like a corner queen. The corner queens, I mean, they can make the whole RV shorter, lighter, and less money, and those are very strong factors. I get it. But you're constantly climbing over one another, and I don't know if you've ever tried to make the bed on a corner queen. I'm going to be as professional as I can about this. It sucks. What's cool here? We've got, because we have a full interior height, they can give us normal hanging closets on both sides of the bed without, you know, having to come up with any sort of weird, wacky, creative solution. We just have a normal bedroom. That's what's neat about this. It's also one of the good aspects of the little more blunt nose front end on this. I think that one of the criticisms someone might think to offer on this is it's kind of flat on the front. And they're going to say, oh, it's going to be like, you know, a giant brick when you're trying to tow it. Please understand that no RV is aerodynamically optimized. Every one of these things, I don't care what the shape of the nose is, they're all rolling bricks. Okay. Now, the fact that they actually gave us dedicated, actual elevated side stands is a standout feature in this class. What most brands will do is they'll say, there, you see that carpeted platform that the mattress is on? Congratulations, that's your side stand. But they didn't do that here. They actually gave us household and USB plugs, and the fact that it's elevated and they left it open means it's very handy if you want to use that, in a sense, kind of like a drawer. Now, you might notice little strings hanging down on each side of this window. This does have pleated shades throughout, which is a nice touch as opposed to less expensive mini blinds. They also do have a full 13,500 BTU air conditioner, which is going to be more than enough. I don't care if you're hot camping in this little thing. You could turn it into an ice box if you are so inclined. So the thing that's given us that little bit of extra space here, especially nice because a lot of times single axle walk-around bed campers, they have a dinette. And I know that there's a lot of people that go, I don't care, I don't want a dinette, I don't want a dinette, you know? Well, now you don't have to. Get yourself a little portable folding picnic table, toss it out in front of that sofa, ba-bam, you're in business. But you notice that little shelf there? That's kind of a neat little thing. You can turn around and set a drink down. You see those power outlets nearby on the upper left side of the screen. You could use that for like a little phone charger shelf or something like that. But what's also cool is not only could you just throw a table in front of this or sit here and lounge at it, but you could also flip this down and have some little guest sleeping space. Now, it's not a giant sleeper. It's a big dog or a little kid sleeper. but it's a sleeper. You can use it if you need to. But what I wanted to really show you by folding this down was the, like, storage pocket behind it. Remember those two pillows that were next to that fold down armrest? You see how I have them stuffed back there? There's extra room hidden back there for things like duffel bags, backpacks, whatever. A little beach bag. And you have that extra shelf above. So now it's really acting like a second headboard for a bed. It's pretty cool. And I hadn't drawn any specific attention to it yet, but we have that fold-down central armrest right there. It's very, very handy if you want to kind of have a little separated seating space, but also the cup holders built into it. You don't necessarily have to use that shelf behind you. You don't have to take the risk of maybe bobbling your drink and spilling it everywhere. And of course that, you know, opens for some great, great airflow. Now, the entertainment system, your Bluetooth DVD stereo, it's located right here. And I like how they're still using like a fully featured entertainment system right here. And Jensen's very good stuff. It's made for being bounced down the road. And if you are so inclined, you can put a TV against the wall right there. I would definitely recommend doing something like a swing out mount. So if you want to be sitting at that sofa, you can make the TV face right over to you. And it's not going to be what I call a neck wrecker. Now there's a very easily missed and very important feature over here in the kitchen. And that is the fact that this has, to my knowledge, the largest refrigerator of anything within its class and category. A lot of RVs have gone to a 6 cubic foot fridge in a single axle camper. But a neat thing that Catalina does is they use 17% larger 7 cubic foot fridge freezers across the board. The reason I like to point that out is because, you know, if it's cabinet space, there's always different ways. There's different solutions. You can go to Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever. You can find little cabinet organizers, which, first of all, I love the fact we have some massive space below that countertop line. But cold storage, that can only come from a refrigerator. So every single ounce of that matters so, so much. Seeing it all opened up like that, you can kind of see the difference in that bigger fridge. Now, right over here, one thing I want to point out, it doesn't have a monstrously large countertop, but what it does have is a sealed edge countertop, and we have added a optional flush mount matching countertop sink cover right here, or counter matching sink cover, as I should phrase it, so that if you need to, I mean, this is, it's heavy duty. You can put some legit heavy bag of groceries on that thing and put stuff away, or put stuff away, and you know, you're not going to have to worry about the thing buckling or anything like that. And before we zip into the bathroom, there's one more neat little detail. It's a small thing, but I think the small things make the big differences in RVs, because a lot of them are, you know, very similar. We've got one light for all of our main ceiling lights, and that's not normal in little trailers. That's kind of the trend here. A lot of things you find on a Catalina single axle are normal features for larger RVs, but not small ones. What's also neat, you do still maintain the ability to turn each of those on and off individually. You'll find the same thing going on here in the bathroom. You have one switch for both of those lights, and you do have a switch panel on the wall to turn that off and on too. Now check this out. We've got a full power vent fan right there like a normal trailer. We've got a skylight like a normal trailer. We have shower surround paneling like a normal trailer. Single axle campers very often lack any or all of those things. And how about the fact that we have just an easy step-in little shower pan, not a big step-up tub. Plenty of legroom in front of that foot flush stool, and plenty of shoulder and hip room if you're a bigger person trying to use the bathroom area. More big cabinet space, more sealed edge counter space. And speaking of counter space, you've got plenty of room in here. If you have blow dryers and shavers and toothbrushes and everything else, you can really go nuts on that. And again, it's going to be protected from water exposure. And then we have a very large dual vanity right up top here. So you have plenty of room to keep things like, you could keep, say, your, you know, toothbrush and toothpaste over here, whereas you're very easily able to keep some actual towels in here because it's deep enough. It's not just a little, I don't know, like toothbrush storage area. You can really use that for linen space if you need to. One of the things that's nice, makes your campsite a little more enjoyable, is this power awning. What's kind of cool is it's an easy tilt awning. They didn't, you know, like really cheap out on it. So it gives us a great place for a picnic table, a couple chairs, something like that. But if it's kind of drizzly and you don't want to get stuck inside all day, this is all it takes to put a little tilt on that awning right there. Now it has an auto rain dump feature, that's the gas strut in the arm, but if you want to just kind of keep that thing a little bit manually cranked so the strut doesn't have to do all the work, that's all there really is to it. Now, what's also neat, if you hit that slide retract button, it will actually sort itself out. It'll flatten itself back out, so the next time you open it, it'll come right back out flat the way it's supposed to. It's not the kind of awning you can mess up, basically. And what's really cool here is how, whether it's the Summit series or the SBX, which by the way is going to be renamed Summit in the near future, or the full Catalina Legacy series, I again love the consistency. You know, it's not that this is less than the other ones, it's just really it's smaller. Like, you have the same extra thick aluminum nose sweep on the front here. You've got that same you know, good looking color palette. We still have a diamond plate stone guard on the bottom, and a lot of the things I'm going to talk about on the exterior here, they're features that you find on RVs all over the place, but they're not always features you find on small RVs. A lot of times when you get into this single axle little category, a lot of really important things start to go to the wayside that you won't see happen here. For instance, you have a fully walkable roof structure here. This is built just like all other Catalinas. It's just built a little smaller. We have tinted windows, which a lot of small RVs tend to lack, so that you can actually get some good privacy as well as keep the heat out of the RV. Little details though, like the fact that up here on this tongue jack, it includes that handy little wheel, so that if you want to like kind of park this in the garage or shift it around your campsite by hand, maybe you're intimidated by a large RV and you're not super good at backing stuff up, well, you can just kind of hand park it. I pushed it here by hand on the asphalt. It was facing literally the other direction. Now, if you look over here, you see this little home plate looking sticker that says BAL on it. What is that? Well, most RVs have a I-beam chassis, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But they went with a higher grade HSLA chassis on this one. That's high strength, low alloy. What that means in English is that the chassis on this is lighter but stronger, and I have always felt if you want a good house, then you start with a good foundation. Now, the reason I had to hand park this thing, if you notice in the distance on the left side there, and you know, disappearing behind this one, is another of these exact same things coming in on a flatbed. We order by bulk to save by bulk, and after he got it off the truck, I helped him slide it out of the way so he could offload the other one. Simple, easy, pretty darn cool. Now, if you look up top, you see that black bucket looking thing next to the air conditioner? That is your TV antenna. It's a Winegard 360 system, so you never have to, like, you know, crank around the antenna or anything like that, crank it up and down. It's always where it needs to be. You see you've got a really rough textured seal gripping slide wall right here. What that's doing is it's grabbing these wiper seals, and I say seals plural because if you peek inside of here, you might be able to notice how there's another wiper seal in place. On the inside of the slide wall, there's another of these bulb seals, so there's always 3 points of contact in place. That's a normal thing to talk about on Coachmen RVs. That's not a normal thing to talk about in small single axle trailers with slides. Very often, you will not get those extra slide seal type measures that they've put in place here on this little Catalina. Down below that slide, you can see how it still has good looking aluminum wheels. A lot of brands will go down to a steel wheel here because, hey, it's price sensitive. I get that. But also right above that, you see that aluminum fender trim. One, it's very good looking. It's very eye-catching. It's a little more obvious to see on the opposite side of the trailer. But the fact is, that little fender trim right there, as opposed to plastic fender trim, it won't fade. It won't get weak from weather. It won't crack and break from wind buffeting. It will always be exactly like it is unless you run into it with the lawnmower or something like that. So you can see how we do have a spare tire on the back here. It's shocking how many of these little trailers are on the market with no spare tire on the back. I hope you never need it, but I sure hope you got it if you do. When I first opened the video, I mentioned that this is 7 foot wide. That's another one of those enhanced towability things. It helps save some weight, but it also means that the RV is not as big, it's not as bulky, it won't catch as much headwind, you know. It's not wider than your vehicle either. I still recommend you get towing extension mirrors, but you don't necessarily need them here depending on your tow vehicle. Another neat little thing, you don't usually see this on single axle campers. Like, this is a very standout feature in this class, is a full outside utility shower. Hot and cold water access, and I love its position on this floor plan. You can do a little bit of campsite courtesy cleanup, and also that little spare tire slip cover right there, just to keep the weather from eating up that spare tire. It's those nice little touches that I look at and say, this is built to stay on the road. They don't want this thing coming back for service. They really put in the extra time and effort. The larger entry handle and a double entry step is another set of features I look at that said, you know what? They really had their heads on straight here. They really thought about this thing, and they wanted to make sure that whoever had it, it was easy come, easy go. You know, they didn't have to add stuff aftermarket. This thing is ready to go straight out of the box, basically. Before I get too far along, though, or wrap us up, rather, because I've already worked my way most of the way around the trailer, it does have a simple side mount solar prep panel right there. We also have a great pass-through storage compartment, which is something little campers, once again, typically lack. Another thing I want to note here is the fact that we have a sealed hinge on this baggage door, so that if it rains or gets wet or and then freezes or anything like that, basically it's just extra protection for the RV. It helps keep water out, and it helps keep that hinge from getting sprung from frozen water. Again, it's built with long-term use and ownership in mind. It's simple, it's basic, but it's smart. It's got it where it counts. It's a really smart product. And ladies and gentlemen, frankly, I think we've done it. I think we did it. Thank you for hanging out with us. Appreciate it very much. All I ask is that you give our team here at Haylett RV the fair opportunity to earn your business in return for our efforts, and know that we do not do the disgusting practice of hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else, whether it's hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.